let me go present our speaker for today. Ta-da! We have Connor, aka Suika.
How's it going, guys? Dude, I'm stoked. This is awesome, man. I'm so hyped.
Yay! I am so excited to have you. And if you guys are not familiar with Suika has a wild repertoire behind his experience as being an editor. 3 billion views, grown 4 accounts from 0 to 1 million plus. That is massive skill, massive achievement. Like, Connor knows so much about the creator space, and this is why we're here. We are here to learn from experts in the field like Connor. So with that, I'm gonna turn it over to Connor, where he's gonna go and give his presentation for you guys.
Awesome. Well, I mean, thank you so much. I I appreciate the hype. I'm gonna be honest, that was like insanely sweet. But yeah, I mean, let's get it going, man. Exactly what was mentioned, right? I'm Connor. I am a short form editor. I manage. I produce videos. I throw them online. But something I really want to tell you right now is I'm not a content creator. I am not someone who consistently does this kind of stuff. I don't talk into the chat, into the void. I don't do that. So I'm gonna stutter. I'm gonna stumble. There's gonna be moments where I kind of ramble on a little bit, but that's part of the fun. We're all gonna smile and we're gonna nod and we're gonna act like we're having a good time. But I can guarantee you this, that as we go through this, you will be able to pull a lot out that's going to genuinely help you in your streaming career and your content creation career, no matter where that blossoms, whether that's you want to grow on TikTok, you want to have a more well-established like YouTube front page. I'm going to be able to lay it all out as pretty much everything that I've known in the past 5 years being a short form editor. So real quick, these are kind of my accolades a little bit. I have under my belt, I have a little under 3 billion views under my editing repertoire. I've put out a lot of videos on the internet, both of myself talking and of content creators I edit for. So those content creators you might know is some VTubers like Fillion, Bao, Megalodon. Other names are like Project Melody, Tricky Wee, and as well as some IRL streamers you might have heard of, like Saikuno, who, I mean, honestly, it's just been a really fun journey getting up until this point. And yeah, I right now my job is to mentor and to teach people essentially how to go viral online. It's my passion. I love doing this. I love sitting down and yapping about all this stuff. I do it every week. And I also do consulting for IPs and brands where I tell them what goes viral. We'll get into it. I'll show you a little bit more about what we're talking about here in the next slide. So here's the rundown of what we're going to go through. Here's kind of the 4 bullet points that I really wanted to hammer home as we talk about what it takes and what you should be really hyper focusing on in growing in the creator space, right? It can be intimidating, like being a creator in an ocean of other people who are trying to grow, who are trying to get their name out there, who are trying to like entertain. You can really feel alone. You can really feel like you don't have much of a chance. But that's why I kind of wanted to really focus on the mindset, the culture, and then the focus on the quality of content. So the first thing we're going to be going through is the success mindset. We're going to be talking about what you should your mental should be as you go into some of these avenues of content creation. We're going to be talking about creating a growth culture in your stream and in your content, what that looks like, what you can do to hype up your chat. We're going to be going over some editing tips and tricks, which is my favorite thing, right? This is my bread and butter, right? I breathe this every day. When I sit down and I open up Premiere Pro, I love sharing these little details. And I promise it's way more exciting than it sounds. And I know that if you apply some of the things that I tell you specifically about video editing, it's going to help you out. It's going to help you out. And then last is clip and content optimization. So let's hop into our first bit, the mindset for success, right? I am definitely a person who over perfects. I'm a perfectionist. If something doesn't look perfect, I get in my own head. I get the craziest brain worms, and that prevents me a lot of the times from uploading, right? I can sit down and I can edit something for hours and hours, but it just won't feel perfect. Something will feel off. I don't like the way my lighting is in my video, so I feel like I should scrap it. But this is something that I do really want to tell you guys, which kind of sounds backwards, but quantity leads to quality. What that means is the more you put content you put out there, right? The more you sit down and edit, the more you just throw out. Even if you don't think it's perfect, even if you think it's a little bit off, even if you don't like the lighting in it just a little bit, as you put it out, you are honing your craft. You're able to see a lot of feedback. You're able to throw stuff out and you're able to see what works. Like, for example, even if the editing is a little off in one video, you can see people really like the content that you put out, whether that's you talking about a relatable subject or that's you talking about current events, you making a reference, or you playing like a popular game online, right? So post, process, polish, post again, right? Don't let the fear of it being imperfect hold you back from throwing something out, right? That's kind of a big ramble, and that's kind of a hard thing to digest, right? But there's a content creator that I absolutely adore, who's an absolute legend. He says to treat every upload like it's a lottery ticket. I use this example all the time. Everyone that I know who I yap to every week, they are so sick and tired of me saying this, but it is genuinely one of the best mentals to have when it comes about sorry, I'm reading chat. Yeah, gamble more. When it comes to uploading and putting short form content out there, right? We're gonna watch this little ramble. I love this.
Luck is unfair. It is really unfair, and it's going to be super discouraging for you, because even as you're working super hard and you've put in 6 months or 12 months and you can tell how much better you are, and you're going like I was, you're going, what the man, I'm working so hard and I think this stuff is great, and people are telling me it's great, you know, and I still had to wait like 5 months after getting to a point where I thought it was great. After putting in like years of work, I still had to wait 5 more months before YouTube was like, nah, okay, yeah, come on into the club. You're successful now. But here's the important thing to remember. You can control the amount of luck. It's not totally out of your control. Here's the analogy that I think helps a lot. It is like a lottery, okay? Every week that you make a new piece of content and you put it out into the world, you are playing the lottery. And you know, you buy one ticket, you're probably not going to win the lottery, right? There's no fucking way. If again, this is like the importance of long-term thinking. If you try for a couple weeks, the odds of you winning the lottery are basically zero. You're not going to win the lottery. And the lottery means, you know, you get a bunch of attention on your channel. For some reason, people find like you blow up and you get the attention that your great content deserves. But here is the secret to the lottery. As you improve as a content creator, you get to enter more tickets into the lottery every week. You don't just play with one ticket every week. As your content gets better, you are putting in more tickets. So again, think about me at the beginning of 2018 versus the end. At the beginning of 2018, I had no strong vision for what I was doing. I was really unclear what worked and what didn't. I was just sort of like imitating other people. And so when I made a video in January of that year, the odds of it winning the lottery were very small. But as that year went by and I was doing more tests and I found my skill mix and I'm like making it more potent, I'm trying new things, and I really am starting to go like, okay, I really think I'm like landing on something here. I am really loving what he's doing. Now every video I put out is like 1,000 tickets. One ticket, you're probably not going to win the lottery. But if every week you play with 1,000 tickets, well, your odds are decent. They're not great. Again, it's the lottery. It's not fair, but your odds are way better than when you started. And this just keeps going. I mean, if you just keep improving over years, think about anybody. If somebody is making the best content of all time, if like Mr. Beast, for example, nobody knew who he was, but he was making crazy shit like he's doing right now. He's playing the lottery with tens of thousands of tickets every time he puts a video out into the world. And even if nobody knows who he is, the odds that he wins the lottery are so much higher than me, who just tried a new thing for the first time in January 2018. I got lucky. And this is, you know, it's important to recognize. I got super lucky, and you're gonna have to get lucky too. But I won the lottery because of years of improving. I worked really hard to make my skill mix great. I spent a load of time and effort to make what I was doing really great, and I played the lottery every single week. I got better every single week because putting in the effort to try new things and learn. And so my odds got better. Eventually I won the lottery, but I got lucky because of the work I did on my skill mix. You, if you are listening to this, you will probably have to wait a long time too. Almost every single person does. Even the people who don't have to wait long usually fizzle out because, again, they haven't put in the work to build the foundation to understand what to do when they get lucky. But I really strongly believe, and this is where I am different and more optimistic than a lot of content creators, if you improve every week, you will win the lottery eventually. You will.
So basically what I'm trying to say with this video is that 90% of gamblers stop right before they hit it big. No, but I genuinely love this. Like, people, I tell you this all the time, and people roll their eyes if they know me. But I've been teaching people about content creation and telling people what it takes to go viral on short forms and what you need to do, what mindset to have. And I always fall back to this analogy right here because it's so good. Because I know personally, I have had hundreds of videos, and that's not me exaggerating. I have had hundreds of videos that I've uploaded online where I think it's going to pop off. I think it's going to go crazy, but it like flops. It barely gets any views. And so I think in my head, oh my goodness, what a waste of time and effort. But this perspective is, no, it's not a waste. You just didn't win the lottery. You know what I mean? So like pretty much like you can have videos that flop, you can have videos you put up that don't perform like you want. But if you have this perspective of like, all right, that didn't go well, GG, go next, right? Something that I've done, which when you do hit the lottery, which you will, like Doug says, right? You will hit the lottery if you keep being persistent at it. You can take those videos, those lottery tickets that didn't hit, re-edit them, put them up. And yeah. Let's go gambling. I love it. Now I want to talk a little bit about creating a growth culture. This is something that I really think, especially with the tools we have in 2026, we as content creators and as streamers really should be focusing on, right? And it's not something that's, that corporate. It's not something that feels artificial. It doesn't feel like you're forcing people to do things they don't want to do. It's just pushing your community, because your community is there for you. The people that are sitting there watching you, they're cheering you on. So you're just showing them ways that you can help them cheer you on, right? So here's some of the bullet points I wrote down right here. Streaming isn't possible without clippers. I'm looking into the chat right now. There's some people in clippers that I've worked with who are here right now. They will agree to this. The people in your community that actively clip content, whether or not they're uploading online, right? Even if they're just clipping it for it to be in your Twitch page, that is so insanely helpful, especially when you go through and you want to create your own content. Your clips are all there. They're made by those people who watch you, right? So hype up your community members who actively clip. And utilize Twitch's new clipping badges. I'm going to show you that in a sec. This is something that's been around for like 5 or 6 months now. And then recognize the people in your community who come regularly, right? This right here is Twitch's new clipper badges. I think they even polished them. They look a little bit better now than they do on this little graph right here. But like, imagine you're streaming and you see someone who has this little like golden clapper, right? You as a streamer, you look at that and you're like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. Like, that guy's a goated clipper, and that then inspires other people to be like, oh, I want to be a clipper. I want to be someone who clips and uploads content. I want to be someone who has my fun badge in chat, right? So make it known. Really hype up these people, because they are the core of what it takes to market your stream, right? So yeah, definitely cheer on your community. Talk about the clipper badges. Another thing you could do is every time like the role gets replaced or it gets swapped around, or someone gains the #1 clipper role, hype it up. Announce it. Really like open up their clip channel and show them the clip that got 100,000 views or whatever it took to get them to that point, right?
They want to grow.
Okay, that autoplayed.
Grow.
But yeah, this is what I'm talking about right now. Queso, one of the biggest streamers in the world right now, he knows this, right? This was actually a while ago. I'm pretty sure the numbers look a little bit different right now if you look it up. But I just typed the word queso on TikTok, and I see all of these fan accounts, all of these clippers. This clip account, 1.1 million followers. This is a fan account. I'm not queso, right? Really hype this up, because this, not only is it great for marketing, but it's great for your community. It gets people to feel involved, like they're a part of something. Let's watch and see what Queso says about this. I really like this conversation.
You need to put as many clips on TikTok as you can. TikTok, and you know it too.
Yep.
TikTok, and there's a lot of people that hate on TikTok, but if you want to grow, You know, there'll be people that'll be like, you know, I'm streaming for 10 hours a day and
Yeah.
I'm still only getting like, you know, 2 viewers.
And it's like, dude, stop right there.
You quit streaming.
Yeah, that's your first problem.
Yeah.
Like,
Quit. My advice to anybody that wants to grow streaming, don't stream a lot.
Yeah.
Make funny clips that is going to match, because you don't want to make funny clips and it doesn't match your stream. You know what I mean? You want to make funny clips that when they go to that stream from that clip, they get the same vibe. So what you want to do is you want to get, because you can get views on TikTok. You can if something's funny. You put something on TikTok, they hit, you start streaming, people will go to that, and you put on the same energy, and eventually people are like, oh, this is cool.
yeah. But like you said, and like what you just said is like really kind of like high IQ, and like a lot of streamers like don't understand it yet. And like, I'm sure they could or will, but like, I didn't understand it at first. But when you have these viral clips on TikTok, it needs to match your actual stream.
yes.
It can't just be a moment. Like for you, like you have so many different like themes and trends and like stuff you do on your stream, like the Fall Guys messages, like 60 seconds. You have all these things like contraband, like where you can replicate this and make it a real part of your stream. Yeah,
every day. People, because if you don't put on the same energy as you had in the clips, we're gonna be like, oh, I'm not gonna watch. You know what I mean? Because you gotta keep energy. Because again, unless you just want to be like a little, you know, mundane, you know, low energy stream, which is fine. There's a lot of people that do that. But again, it's all about short form, and you know, it's about short form, you know, clips. That's how you get momentum. Period.
Yeah.
You know, because you can't just spark up on stream every day on Twitch and get viewers. That's just not how it is. You know, you got to go on different platforms, post your clips, and then eventually, you know, if you do it right, people will come.
Yeah.
You know?
I love that. If you do it right, people will come. And dude, I love Queso. Like genuinely one of my favorite streamers of all time. I think he's so goated. Oh my gosh. But yeah, like it's just throwing it out there. Throw the lottery tickets out there, right? Obviously, like we're all not gonna have Clippers day one, but you know, if this is something you really focus on, you put your own clips out there. You throw them on TikTok, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts. You keep doing that. Then you hype up the Clippers. Then you cultivate the clipping community, and you remind the people, like, yeah, you wouldn't be here if it wasn't for that YouTube Short you stumbled upon, right? Because genuinely, like if you sit and think about it, right? At least for me, I can't think of a streamer that I've grown to love, that I watch every single time they go live, that I found just by scrolling the Twitch trending page or the Twitch recommended for you page. It's always from TikTok or Reels, right? So that's what I really want to hype it up. Like it's so integral to growing. This is a very similar sentiment that Ludwig holds. This is one of the last streamers we'll have Yap. But what I kind of wanted to hammer home is these guys are at the top, right? And they're doing stuff that we can do right now. You know what I mean? Here we go.
How does growth happen on Twitch?
You don't grow on Twitch.
You don't grow.
That's not how it works.
Okay. All right.
What you do is you grow on another platform.
Okay.
And then you bring them to Twitch. And I kind of figured that out early. So I was like, okay, I'll make a YouTube channel and I'll grow on YouTube. And then I'll just be like, hey guys, watch my Twitch. That was kind of like the start of it all.
That's the strategy.
So when I show people this, I get like one of two reactions. It's like, oh my gosh, I never thought about that. I never thought of like using other platforms to promote my stuff. But then there's the other side of it. It's like, oh yeah, it makes sense. It totally clicks. It totally makes sense. Yeah, we should be doing this. Because the truth is, like, I think that like the discoverability we have, the discoverability opportunity we have by having the freedom to just open up our phones and throw up our Twitch clips on all these different platforms and all these different avenues, it's so good for growing and hyping up your stream. I'm yapping right now. We're gonna go to the next slide. Not my favorite part. I am a sucker for editing. It's my passion. I love doing this stuff. I do it every single day. And we're going to be talking a little bit about editing tips and tricks. So first of all, when it comes to clips and clip selection, right? You have your clippers, or even like you have yourself and you're going through your VODs and you're like, all right, what should I throw on TikTok? What lottery ticket should I toss out today? Here's a couple things you should keep in mind as you're finding those clips to put out. You should pretty much always avoid inside jokes. What that means is you want to be able to put up a clip that anybody could understand, right? An example that I have is, even though they might not be your target demographic, if like your grandfather, like, or like a 60-year-old man in Texas were to stumble upon your video, would he be able to understand it, right? Even if he doesn't find it interesting, even if gaming's not his thing, would he be able to watch it and have a comprehensive understanding of everything that happened in the video, right? So when you're sitting there, like, that also means like you not having required any previous context of the clip. Pretty much is everything contained inside the clip that even if someone doesn't know you at all, can sit there, laugh, and enjoy the moment. What would that moment look like, right? Think if this is someone's very first impression of me and my content, would I want this to be it, right? That definitely sounds heavy, and it is heavy, but it's a great mental to have, especially when you're spending time picking out content to upload online, right? Make your clips really interesting. So this is a few things that I think editing wise is super important, right? You don't want to have any silence in your clips, especially at the beginning and especially at the end, right? You want it to start really quick and you want it to end really quick. Because if you can get a viewer to watch from the beginning all the way to the end, that tells the algorithm, no matter what platform it's on, that people like to watch this video. So they're gonna push that video out to more and more people, right? So like I said before, the hook, the beginning of your video, right? I don't know if you've heard that term before, but like the hook, right? It's the most important part of your video. And this is long form, this is short form, this is the trailer you make for your Twitch. It's the most important part because that in that brief moment, that's where the person watching, that's where the viewer decides whether or not they're going to spend their time watching this content, right? So start your clips with something really visually interesting, right? Do a little zoom, have it be like a gasp or a shocked reaction. You'll see this in a lot of clipper content and in a lot of streamer content. They'll normally start really heavy on either them talking or as an editing effect that's like a big zoom in. I'm going to show you exactly what I'm talking about, a visual example in a bit. Another thing you can do is beginning with a question or being asked like a TTS redeem, right? Like if you're trying to be relatable, right? And you want to have a video about like the new Taco Bell cheesy gordita crunch. I guess that's not new. That's been around for like a decade. But bear with me, right? Hey, Chad, you've ever had the cheesy gordita thing from Taco Bell? Right? I mean, it sounds bizarre, but starting with a question really makes the viewer interact and think, have I had the new cheesy gordita crunch from Taco Bell? Right? It gets them in the moment, right? And they're going to remember that because you're then providing more than just, oh my gosh, the streamer yelled and it was silly, right? It's a little more thought-provoking, right? Use engaging hook text to keep people around, right? This is something you'll see all the time. I think it's really important. Like I said, what you're trying to do is get people through your hook so they can make the decision whether or not they want to swipe. And if you add text on the top of your YouTube screen, right? Or on your short or your reel or your TikTok or whatever, that forces the viewer to stop and read. And that gives them an expectation for what they're going to see in the video, right? So what that means is if I'm the viewer and I read, Queso laughs so hard he falls out of his chair, right? I want to see that. I want to see that. I'm going to sit down and I'm going to watch the entire video because I want to see when Queso laughs so hard he falls out of his chair. You know what I mean? And it's just that brief text, that brief pause that you're making the viewer do to stop and read what's on the screen that gives them the opportunity to watch it all the way through, right? Okay. And then remove all dead space in your vids. I won't talk too much about this, but like it's so important just to remove every single breath of dead air. Whether that's like a small moment where you're inhaling, where you're yawning, cut that out, right? Especially if it's short form content and people are sliding, remember you have to keep people engaged, right? So remove the dead space in your videos. And a very interesting thing, I don't have an example for this, but this blows people's minds. But you watching this either in stream or in the VOD, open up the Game Theory YouTube channel, watch a MatPat, like a recent MatPat video, and count and notice how they never ever have him breathing. It's interesting. It's so quick. It's so to the point. Anyways, this is the shloom, right? I said before, this is an editing trick, right? Even if you don't have an insane question or an insane visual hook, this is something you can do with editing Yeah, I see some people in here hyping up the shloom. I love this, right? This is a visual editing effect that you can use that I promise engages people, right? And it's so subtle. It's so subtle. So we're gonna watch this video really quick. You just saw the shloom right there. Well, watch this video all the way through, but in just that little bit, notice what happens with the screen, right? We'll start this over. See how like it zooms out a little bit? You know, you see Schlatt, like Jay Schlatt, the streamer on top, right? He zooms into the top, the video forms into the bottom, right? And it's like, it's a crazy brain trick. Like this is a psychology thing, I swear. Because, you know, imagine you're scrolling on your phone, right? You're swiping. And when you swipe and you see that like slow zoom out, it's almost like the momentum of your swipe is caught. And now you're like suddenly like, oh, eased into the video. This sounds so like silly. It sounds so silly and random, but I promise it works, right? This is the shloom video. Mess up.
Bro, cook them up.
The shloom, dude. It's so engaging. This got 209 million views. Like it's a crazy trick. It's not a ton, but it's just that little subtle editing trick you can do that can help your video pop off, right? So the big three. This is what I tell everybody after the lottery ticket thing. Because after the lottery ticket, it comes into the actual creation of the content, right? 70% of short form viewers watch their videos muted. Think about that for a second, right? 70% of short form viewers, so that's people who are swiping on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, they're watching their videos muted, which sounds crazy. But then you think of, okay, how many people are commuting? How many people are on the bus? How many people are like chilling in the backseat of the car and they don't want to annoy their parents driving? You know what I mean? How many people are at work and they're not allowed to be on their phones and they don't want their boss to know, but they're peeking under, looking at their phone, swiping through YouTube Reels, you know, or YouTube Shorts, right? Add captions. With captions, it makes it so it just lets that audience who are swiping on the bus, who are on the train, right? They're able to watch your videos and understand what's going on. And a lot of times these auto caption features on like YouTube and TikTok, they can be a little finicky. So add your own. Add your little like pop-up text that bounces around every time someone talks. You saw it pretty prominently in the Schlatt video, right? Like they just have like the little text that pops in, right? And that just makes it easy for the viewer to watch and understand. Super engaging. Frame the video so there's no empty space and that there's always something to look at. This is something that I think is really important. A lot of times when people want to upload their Twitch clips, they get pretty worried about cutting off the sides, right? They want to make sure that like everything in the video was captured. And this is where editing can get a little bit tricky. You have to decide, okay, do I want the face cam to be on the top and the game to be on the bottom? Do I want just the gameplay and have it cut back to the face sometimes? But as long as you always have in full frame something that's visually interesting, that's the most important part, right? If you just upload the clip and it's, you know, you're on your phone, it's vertical format, right? And on the top and bottom, there's big black empty bars. That can be a huge turnoff for a lot of viewers. So definitely want to avoid that. And then next, I mentioned this before, ensure all of your clips have a proper context, meaning you don't have to rely on any prior knowledge of or stream to enjoy it, right? Inside jokes are really fun for stream. And I'm not saying you can definitely make short form content with those inside jokes. But if that's the main focus, it really blocks off the new audience you're trying to bring in, right? So make sure all your videos have proper context. Make sure people can understand, and that 90-year-old man in Texas on his phone can understand what's going on. It's really important, and it does way more than you know. Next, we're gonna be kind of heading towards the end right here of the presentation. We're gonna be talking about clip and content optimization. Again, I'm not a streamer, but I do know what content goes viral. And I know what big streamers do, and even what big brands and companies do to make moments that go viral, right? So this is where planning comes into place. Kind of like what Queso said and what Ludwig said, right? Just clicking go live is not enough to pop off. It's not enough to make your career happen. So you have to plan clippable and memorable moments for your stream, right? And there's a lot of ways you can do this. I mean, my favorite streamer of all time, bar none. Apologies, all the people that I work for that I'm saying this about, but Germa is my favorite streamer of all time. If you guys don't know Germa, look him up on YouTube, and then suddenly 8 hours of your life is gone. It's crazy. I think he discovered forward time travel for me. It's insane. Hilarious content. He plans these dumb bits on his stream, and he just he does these little bits, and then he just continues on with the stuff, right? So plan things, plan funny moments, right? Plan jokes. If you're chilling in bed, right? And I've actually talked to streamers that do this. If you're chilling in bed and you're falling asleep and you're like, oh my gosh, it would be so funny if I said this joke on stream, write it down, plan it, and do it, right? Again, and this is kind of moving on to the next point, which I think is one of the most important things, right? Because everything that I've yapped about so far and everything that I've pushed through, it sounds so professional. It sounds, you have to do this or it's not going to go well, or if you don't shloom your videos, it's going to flop or whatever. But don't be afraid to be imperfect, right? Don't be afraid to don't get too caught up in the, oh, was this moment funny enough? Oh, did my shloom catch the momentum of the swipe properly enough? Or, oh, was my captions visually stimulating enough? Don't be afraid to be imperfect. Throw your stuff online. It'll surprise you. I've been in many situations with huge creators where we've uploaded a video that took 6 hours or so. I had to catch myself there. 6 hours or so to edit, and it flopped, versus my 30-minute edit of them reacting to a funny meme, right? That goes viral, and you're like, okay, so I didn't have to work that hard. But it's just because you're not hyperfixating on the perfection. You're not making it too polished and perfect. Everyone wants to be Mr. Beast, but Mr. Beast was crazy imperfect when he started. Go back to his super old videos. It's just him walking around with his homies, seeing how many Legos could stop a bullet. Don't be afraid to be imperfect, especially right now. Right here in the Creator Accelerator program, where you're trying to find your flow, where you're trying to find your growth pattern and what works for you. You know what? I typed this out wrong. If I could go back and rewrite this presentation, I would actually advise you to be imperfect. And then next, always read chat messages out loud if you're going to respond. This is something most streamers know, but sometimes forget. I've been in a lot of streams where I love to chat with a streamer, and they talk back to the chat. But a lot of times as a new viewer, it's hard to know what they're talking about because they're not actively reading what chat is saying out loud, right? So yeah, just make sure you read it out loud for proper context, and that also makes it so it's a perfectly editable and clippable moment for YouTube Shorts and Reels and everything. And then the last thing, which can be really hard, and I understand this can be really hard, but sacrifice stream length for stream quality. So if that doesn't make sense, I'll say it one more time. You should be sacrificing your stream length for stream quality. Don't get me wrong, there's really cool marathon streams that we see the top streamers do, where it's let's see how long Ludwig can be in a glass box until he loses his mind, right? Let's do a subathon. And that's really fun, but you have to know, when people do that and when streamers do that, that is very detailed and thought out. Every single hour they have something planned to happen, right? Meanwhile, if I'm like, oh, I really like Genshin Impact, let me play Genshin Impact for 42 hours straight, I'm going to get burnt out. I'm going to be cooked. I'm going to be slouched back in my chair. You're going to see dark under my eyes, I'm going to be cooked. And so something important to remember is, if you're feeling tapped out, if you're feeling a little beat, don't be afraid to end stream early, because you don't want to set a false precedent for new viewers, right? And here's the very last thing. We're going to be wrapping up the presentation right here. Before we finish up, I want to say thank you so much for this opportunity. I was just saying I would love to do this more consistently. This is my passion. I was able to give a similar presentation at TwitchCon on stage, and it was probably my highlight of 2025. This is, I'm super anti-gatekeepy, so being able to stand here and be like, hey, this is what you should do, it makes me feel like I'm helping out in the right ways, right? So the very last thing, if you love what you're doing and you genuinely enjoy it and you love the idea of cultivating a community, if you genuinely like, making people laugh and just being like a positive force in the universe, right? If you love what you're doing, do not stop creating. Don't be afraid to be imperfect. Throw your stuff out there. Like, I can't say this like loud enough, but you know, we have such a unique voice right now. Like, you are right now in this spot in your life in such a unique place where you can do all of this. You can look at a camera and you can yap and you can make someone giggle across the world, right? So take advantage of that, man. Thank you guys so much. This is honestly an awesome experience. Thank you guys. There's my socials. There's a lot of I's in there. There's 3 actually in all of them, but it's hard to see. There's an underscore in Twitter for some reason. But yeah, no, thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, Blerp and everything. It's been a lovely experience. And yeah, the people who are hopping into chat from my stuff, it's great to see you guys. You guys have made me hold back laughter this entire time. But thank you guys.
Yay! Can we get some W's in chat, guys, please, for Suika for such an amazing presentation. I feel like I'm like walking out of here, like my brain like doubled in size after everything you were explaining. Like some of the stuff you were saying, it's like so real, right? Like it's literally a lottery. You just keep posting videos, even if they're not perfect. You get something out there, you know? I love that. So we have, by the way, guys, don't forget to follow Suika on all of their socials. We have 15 minutes left to hostage our lovely presenter here. So we're opening the floor to some questions. And I noted down a couple that people were asking while you're presenting. So I'm just going to pepper you with these questions. The first one that I saw was that, do you have any advice for editing clips from creators that don't think they're funny?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. A lot of creators think they're unfunny. Everybody does. Like, and I'm not trying to be all pessimistic. Like, I think when it comes to being funny and when it comes to streaming and everything, it's like when you hear a recording of your own voice and you kind of just like cringe a little bit. You know what I mean? As a creator, as someone who's uploading their own stuff, it's, oh my goodness, I had my notice on. Did you hear that?
I saw the alerts pop up.
I gotta figure out how to get rid of that. I'm sorry.
No, you're all good. It adds to the vibe.
I just got yippied in my ear. But what I'm saying is, there's gonna be a lot of people who think they're unfunny, and that's the beauty of a clipper, right? A lot of times a streamer is gonna think they're unfunny, but if you can put that clip up and you can present it and edit it, have funny things pop up, you can show that clipper or that streamer, that content creator, that they are funny, right? I think that's really inspirational. And again, when it comes to making that funny with editing, cut out the dead space, do little zoom ins, even if it's just them talking. Like right now, I'd be like, this is what you should do. Like, so zoom in right there, cut out the part of me breathing, cut out me stuttering 2 seconds ago, and then just have it kind of flow where they're talking with chat and everything. You can really make any clip shine with some proper editing.
So that's notes I'm taking. A good editor can make anybody funny. Awesome. So another question that I saw is, should short form content be in the same layout, or should you like change it every upload?
I am very, very pro experiment, right? I think that you should always be experimenting and trying new things, right? Because I do this with a lot of people, right? And with, for example, Fillion, right? She's a VTuber. She's one of the biggest VTubers in the world. I met her when she started off, when she only had 10 to 20 viewers, and it takes a lot of experimentation and format swapping and subtitle changing and font swapping until you find the right groove. And so even when you upload a video and say you hit like the low ball lottery, say you kind of do pretty well, you get a vid that gets a couple thousand, 10, 20,000 views, right? You're going to think like, oh, I should stick with this format forever. While yes, you should probably apply what worked from that video consistently, you should still do these little one-off experiments, right? Like, oh, maybe I should split screen the game and the streamer instead of having it be the game only, or maybe I should only zoom in on the streamer and have chat rolling in the bottom, right? So yes, formatting is important, and having a format you enjoy the most is important. But I think even more important than that is experimenting and trying different things, because that could help you hit the even bigger lottery. That's going to be my analogy for the next 10 minutes, by the way. I'm just going to keep talking about gambling.
Yeah, take notes, guys. Everybody go buy lottery tickets. If you lose, blame Connor. I'm kidding. Not actual advice here. Another question that I saw is your thoughts on reposting a clip that maybe flopped, that they maybe want to repurpose.
So that's a thing. I'm very pro reposting, and it depends on your perspective, right? But I always think you should change at least one thing before you just straight up re-upload a video, because a lot of times that video might have flopped for a reason. Like, it could have been a little too long. It could have had some dead space at the end. You could have cut it a bit shorter. The shloom probably didn't fit in right. You know what I mean? But what I often do is I swap at least one thing and I re-upload stuff. And then if that doesn't work, I still don't think you should ever throw away a clip. Make a compilation video, right? I mean, it's a super popular trend you see on TikTok and Instagram all the time. It's like, top 5 burnt peanut moments or something, right? Make one of those and just have one of those be like number 4 or something. You know what I mean? I'm very pro re-upload.
I love that. I do agree too, because like if you have faith in this like clip, like you were saying earlier, right? Like maybe there's like a better hook you could use or something, like rework it, repost it. Never know. Maybe that one went viral, another lottery ticket that we're buying out here. Somebody had a question about your opinion about using specific platforms for editing versus editing externally and then posting. I'm guessing there may be like editing within platform, like within TikTok or like, I don't know, the edits app for Instagram versus editing externally in like Premiere Pro or DaVinci or Streamladder and then posting.
Yeah. So this is where it gets a little mixed up, right? I do think that there is potential with just only in-app editing. I think you can definitely pull some interesting things off. However, there's so many tools and things you can utilize nowadays that just makes it easier, right, to edit. I've done the situation where I've been a TikTok creator hub editor, but if you guys don't know, there's a free app on your phone called CapCut that does 5 times, 10 times the amount of what that TikTok editor can do. Yeah, I mean, sure, there's paid features in that, but that still is a step above. I definitely think you should be using external stuff if possible. But that doesn't mean you should throw away content if you can at the time, right?
No, that is so valid. I feel like just being able to do more is gonna separate like your video from somebody else's. Another question that people had was, while streaming, if you have no viewers, should you just focus on creating content?
Oh, absolutely. Like the best advice that I ever got when I was doing my own content, and the best and in fact, actually, Ludwig, if you can't tell, I'm a Ludwig fan. Ludwig at the end of last year did a video where he made a new Twitch account and streamed to nobody, and gave his advice on what he would do in that situation. Because everyone's at that point at some part, right? Jinxie, one of the biggest streamers in the world, streams to nobody for like 2 or 3 years. But a great mental to have that Ludwig has said and that I have used in my own is, if you're alone in your stream and you have 0 viewers, treat it like it's a YouTube video. Treat it like you're recording a YouTube video, right? And then when someone hops in stream, then that's interaction, right? Because if you're treating it like a YouTube video and you're actively talking like, Markiplier reacting or whatever, right? And someone hops in, they're not hopping into somebody who's just silent playing, Call of Duty or whatever. They're hopping in on someone who's actively talking, who's cracking jokes, even if there's not anybody in the audience. Because even just think about it, right? Even if no one's watching, you're still making a VOD. You're still recording it. And that content that you're making right then, that's going to be the content that someone, a year, 2 years from now, when you have a massive audience and you're the next Moist Critical, they're going to look back at that and be like, dude, this guy was always funny. Oh, this girl was hilarious. Are you kidding me? Right? That's my mental there.
That is so true. Like, oh, like I was the OG. Like, this is proof that like I had a sense of humor even back then.
Oh yeah. I
love that. There's a question that I I think these are like very interesting questions. Do you think there's a golden rule for how far apart videos should be if you're uploading multiple times a day?
Yes. So I do think that videos can step on other videos' toes. I try my best not to upload more than twice a day. And twice a day is even a lot sometimes. So what you'll notice when you start uploading multiple times a day is you'll upload a video and it'll start gaining traction and momentum, and then you'll upload another video and that can kind of squander this older video's momentum, right? So I like to keep it at like around 8 to 10 hours apart if I'm uploading multiple times in one day, right? I'm not saying you shouldn't upload multiple times a day, but if you're going to, that's kind of what my golden rule would be. Especially if, and I mean, of course, play it by ear. But if one video is popping off like crazy and you still see like a bunch of comments rolling in and a bunch of likes rolling in, maybe just hold off that second post the next day. That's what I would say.
Would you say this is like true across all social media platforms, or do you have like a different rule per platform? Like, is Instagram different than like TikTok, for instance?
I think that that's the rule on TikTok and YouTube, but Instagram's pretty interesting right now. I think you can upload quite a bit on Instagram back to back, and you'll have good luck there. But again, like if you want to be consistent across all platforms, that's kind of like a safe rule to follow, right?
Got it. Got it. Thank you for the clarification across platforms. Let's see, we have time for maybe like 2 more questions. So these were like a couple others that I grabbed off of like what chat was asking. We have a question of how can we help our community know what to clip, as many don't come from a content creation mindset.
I mean, that's a great question, right? I think that you don't really have to be a coach. You don't really have to be like, okay, chat, this is what you should clip this stream. The best way to do it is to pull up examples, right? And what you're doing is you're not telling your chat, hey guys, you should clip this kind of content, but you're reacting to funny moments, right? If you got jump scared playing like Resident Evil or whatever, you can pull up a clip that's perfectly cut that has you being, all scared and whatever, and then have it happen. You're reacting to that clip, then you shout out the clipper, right? Like, oh my gosh, this person who clipped this was so funny. Like, it was so well clipped. Good job. That'll in turn inspire other people to clip like that, right?
So you're like Pavlov dog training them, like
yeah, right.
Here's a good
like,
clip. Give praise. They want
like,
praise, they clip.
Yeah, exactly. You want praise? You want to be on my stream? Like, I mean, that's like what people love, is they want their name to pop up on stream. You're teaching other clippers by example of another clipper, right? If that makes sense. Yeah.
That is honestly so true. So train your community, guys. That's what we're hearing here. Another one is, what about changing the title on an already posted short?
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. I think this actually, I wouldn't be surprised if that was one of my homies who asked that question, because I think this is so important. YouTube is crazy, and so I mean, I don't know how to like say this without sounding weird. I used to have a YouTube partner manager who I used to talk to every week, and I asked him like, "Hey, does changing the titles affect the videos?" And he's like, "No, it doesn't change anything." Like, okay, but I still would kind of change the title of it 1 or 2 hours after uploading, and I would see noticeable spikes in performance, right? I have screenshots and screenshots of this happening, because it's such an interesting phenomenon on YouTube, is changing and swapping around the title pretty soon after it gets uploaded. I mean, I don't want to say I know exactly how it works, but my hypothesis, my guesstimate is when you swap out keywords and we swap out certain parts of the title, it puts it into a new audience, right? Like this, if my title was just like, this trick shot was crazy, and it was a Rocket League clip, that clip could do well because people like trick shots. But if I change the title and just to say, this Rocket League trick shot was crazy, then that opens it up to the Rocket League community, right? So I definitely think that that's something you should consistently be experimenting with, is swapping your titles around on YouTube.
Wow, that is actually so interesting because that is not something that I've heard of, but that makes so much sense if the analytics are showing that like it's like re-tagging the video essentially.
Yeah.
How
No,
many-
I could fill out a book with how many screenshots I've got from clippers
Dang.
and content
What would be the
creators who-
time window for this? Like you said, within a couple hours?
I would say within a couple hours, especially if the video is not performing like you want it to. I would say swap it around, you know, about an hour or two. But again, you can experiment still, like, you know, a few hours after that. You know, I've swapped titles, you know, a day or so after, and I've seen little bumps here and there. But the most stark swaps and spikes I've seen was from about an hour after the video went up.
All right, taking notes. 1 hour after, guys. That's what the master himself says. So I'm taking notes. I'm gonna try this now because never heard of this. This sounds crazy. So that will be our final question because we have hit time. Again, W's in chat, guys, for Suika and all of the amazing advice. And then once again, where can people find you?
Twitter, I guess. If you guys go to Blerp and you're following the Creator Accelerator program, you can follow me on Twitter. I have Twitch. I plan on going live here pretty soon, but I just am a little bit lazy right now. But no, yeah, I love talking about this stuff. I plan on doing more like personalized whatnots and tips and tricks on my socials. So if you want to hear more of this here and there, be sure to follow me, and yeah, we'll make it happen.
Awesome. Thank you so much for kicking off the Creator Accelerator. You are our very first workshop. So this is an amazing start. So again, thank you everybody for being in this stream. And again, thank you Suika for being here. And with that, let's see, we're gonna go and send a little raid over to another streamer real quick. But again, don't forget guys, join the Creator Accelerator program if you have not already. It's right there. Don't forget to join the Discord. That's where all the communication is going to happen. And with that, if you haven't gotten an acceptance letter already or an acceptance email, make sure you go check your junk email, your spam folders, right? Because it might end up in there. It will be coming from Blerp/Derek. And I am excited to go see what you guys are kicking off. We'll have another presentation tomorrow, also at 4 p.m. PST. So this will be happening, by the way, every single week for the next 6 weeks. Oh, and if I did crochet the shrug yet, so thank you. I hope you guys like it. The VOD also will be available on my channel. It will also be uploaded ASAP to the Blerp YouTube channel as well. So make sure you check it out there because again, if you weren't able to make this time zone, you have friends that were in different time zones, like it is all good. It is a-okay. Like this will all still be available. So we're gonna go send some love to another streamer real quick, and then thank you everybody for being here again. Don't forget to join the program, and a big W to Streamladder and Blerp for hosting this because this is such an amazing program for creators, right? Because this is a new year and this is going to be everybody's year. We're all going to get big W's together and we're all going to grow together as creators. So again, don't forget to go follow Suika on all of their socials. Exciting to see them on Twitch soon, and they have amazing advice. So let's get started, guys. Get those videos made. Thank you everybody for being here. Suika is in chat. Go follow Suika, okay? Go show them all the love that they deserve. And with that, we'll be sending this raid. I hope to catch you guys in tomorrow's workshop. Bye-bye.